Hello and welcome to day 132 of 365 days towards racial change. My name is Tomlins Nyback. We're here talking about black issues, black life in America. If you've been here any amount of time, you know there's just a few subjects we talk about consistently. Wealth being an important part of them. Uh, uh, Financial literacy, group economics. We talk about some current events, sprinkle some of that in there to illustrate what the black-white dynamic, uh, other groups, blacks behaving poorly is a big issue. Um, there's not a whole lot of there's a lot of bullet points, but we just look at them from various angles here. My two big issues come with human thinking, the human mind based on color. Do black people still perpetuate uh, the slave mentality, slave ignorance, not being stupid, but being unaware of the potential of self-sabotage, um, being lackadaisical about accountability, those kind of things I feel are inherent in the black mind, the black community. Also, the white mind of entitlement, privilege, expectation of favor, which is weird. I've just turned off CNN and we reviewed the instance of these white people doing these mass shootings, which it just doesn't make sense. Where the rate of that incident is phenomenally high over the industrial world. No other nation shares it. You could count on one hand the incidents of the occurrence of these in only uh, two or three other nations, industrialized nations. Yet America is just off the chart. Why is a country where the majority is experience wealth and opulence, how is it that a country so synonymous with ease, wealth, um, preference, power, why is there this phenomenon of implosion, of being murderously at the throat of one another? I mean, this is a conversation I should not be trying to illustrate in America. We should see it. Um, we should expect it again in depressed areas of the globe. Not so. America. Oh, we're so free. Man, I don't see it. you know, well, I'm going back to college, but when I left the school, um, I had apparently missed some kind of workshop of an active shooter coming into a classroom. I'm going to school and I've got to be trained how to respond when an active shooter corners me in the classroom when I'm trying to learn. Amazing. In America, in white America, this is happening. White kids are doing this. And, I'm in Colorado. I know these areas, Columbine and Highlands Ranch proper, where these things occurred. Those are white communities. These people live in huge houses, buildings, probably got all the amenities and privileges you can dream of that would never materialize in one's life. Yet they gotta go and kill up, mass murder people. I'm scratching my head at that. So we dabble in that. The mind in America, black mind, white mind. Black mind, black behavior, just as murderous and stuff like that. But I don't know, the way we value things, it's an enigma, it's a mystery, some of this stuff. Uh, if you ever have a spiritual life, that can shed some light on it. Otherwise, I don't know where you get your source of strength to get out of bed in the morning. Now, my second thought is for financial literacy. We're going to be talking about that a little bit today. But being financially ignorant is so detrimental, leaves me vulnerable to those that know, that those that do, that those that know how to navigate financially are just better prepared and all that. You know, your gut feelings and hunches, oh, that'll get you through, maybe get you in the door and move you along for a while, but you know, you need some study, you need some feedback, you need some mentorship, you need role models. Black community just doesn't have that. Even those that we consider successful in the entertainment industry, and when I say entertainment here in this forum, I mean entertainment as an umbrella term for athletes, game show hosts, talk show hosts. That's entertainment. The white people love that and eat that up. You do that well as a black person, and you go far. Just don't try to mention black vulnerability, white power, and don't get into racial issues. Just stay quiet, make your money, and get off the camera. I'm inspired by a man named Dr. Claude Anderson in these books, and I agree with much of his thought and everything. I thank God that he materialized in my life. I don't know him personally. I was introduced through a mutual friend of ours, and so I watched videos, got some books, and so I found in my life, this is my personal experience real quick, I was running into ceilings and walls. I was having challenges, especially with the white community, that I had no idea. I did not understand the dynamic of slavery, how important that chunk of 100 years, mid 1500s up to the present, you know, how this 450 years of history was impacting me today. You know, how when I sought to move out of my place in America, I'm finding resistance. I'm seeing my white counterparts have this freedom and stuff. When I reach for this same process or preference, boom, doors shut. Whole systems come against me. And I had no idea what was going on. I should have been the one going on murder sprees and stuff like that. It's amazing black people don't, by the way. It's totally upside down, whatever's going on. But, you know, just at the right time, this man's work came. So I don't know if I would agree with him personally. I don't know if we'd be friends or whatever, but his arguments make sense. Let me just show you. I want you to get these books too. Whether you're black, Hispanic, white, Asian, get the books so you understand the argument. A Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. If you only get one book, get this one. This is the most important one, I think. Black Labor, White Wealth, Search for Power and Economic Justice, and Dr. Anderson's National Plan to Empower Black America. You can find Dr. Anderson at PowerNomics.com and the Heritage Institute in Washington, D.C. We're looking at PowerNomics today, page 120. Behind me, you see the hashtag #US2 symbol as black females support one another, discoursing. There are issues that do go along sexual lines as far as sex, not having sex, but the sexes, man, woman. And barring arguments about binaries and stuff like that. Man, woman. Here's black women coming together, support one another. They're having an answer to the hashtag #MeToo movement, which is a primarily white forum. Check out Black Enough, BLAGGENUF. Was kind of a black Facebook. Oh, if you're an entrepreneur, I don't hit this too much. My focus isn't so much on business as I would like it to be, but you can go to the Black Business School. Check out Dr. Boyce Watkins and his team over there, and he's got great products and stuff. I took a sample and whatnot. I'm just not in for subscriptions. I hate subscriptions. Maybe that's old school, whatever. I just don't want to be keeping track of all that stuff. But he's got a good thing going there. And just so it's not humdrum all the time, we look at a fictional life of slave life in America. Harriet Beecher Stowe's book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, to get a foundation of some of the stereotypes and dynamics between black and white folks in America back in mid-1800s. Very important book she's got there. So today we're in PowerNomics, talking about the source of wealth, and PowerNomics is the book, it's Dr. Anson's national plan to empower Black America. So he's giving solutions, steps that the Black community can take to kind of come out from under and all that. Now, overall, his book's focus is for Black folks to do what all the other groups in America have done, are doing, still do. It is to cordon off economically, financially, their space, and they practice, exclusive preference with one another. Now, I know there's laws against discrimination and all that, but who's got time to prove that? Am I really going to go to a Vietnamese joint, look for a job, be overtly, let's just say, well, I'm obviously discriminated against and wanting to have access to go work for them? Do I have the resources, and do I really want to go spending time fighting that when I need to pay my bills, feed my stomach, live somewhere? So we've got a lot of great laws in America. Good luck with proving that you've been discriminated against. It happens and occasionally and stuff. But it's really got to be explicit, well-defined, and you don't want to be in a long fight for that kind of stuff. Now, having said that, getting back to the exclusivity, blacks need to do the same thing. But look, see, blacks are we're so distracted easily. We know what has been working for us, the entertainment and all this stuff. We just keep right on entertaining, exposing ourselves, and some of it lands right where we can rise up. Most of it is dispersed and wasted energy. What am I going to do? I'm into philosophy, thinking. I can entertain and stuff like that, but I'm into a new thing with my mindset. Where do I go? Where's my community? Things like that. So we want blacks to do just as the Chinese do, all the Asian groups do, all the white groups do. It's the Jewish community, in a sense. We need our lawyers, politicians, and whatnot. And we've got a pretty good showing out there. But that's one of the main arguments, especially in this book, is how to get blacks to come together. So, okay, once we stop killing each other off, selling each other drugs, doing drugs, drinking too much, and all that, incarceration, stop being incarcerated. Once we get the dysfunction out of the way and start to be a recognized, respected, respectable community, then we can start this exclusivity. He calls it ethno aggregation. Along with vertical integration of business, uh, we find our ability to prosper. So in this section, page 120, sources of wealth, the title is Where Does Wealth Come From? But we need that to happen. Quick note, there's a people group growing in America. They're getting some national attention. Now, I heard about them years ago. They're called the Hmong, Hmong. And the Hmong people, they say they're, it's interesting, we would, if you Google them, it's Hmong people from, they'd say people of Vietnam, which isn't right. The Hmong people are their own people. Like the Vietnam, if you see on a map what they are geographically, you see their community goes beyond the Vietnamese border. I think it's kind of more northern, and goes into other countries. These are people that during the Vietnam War, any conflict or whatever, these are people that not even their surrounding people mess with, because they're very territorial. They know how to fight. They you know what I mean? They have that allegiance to each other that's profound and solid, and you just there were problems for even the Vietnamese folks. They're not Vietnamese. So, but that's the kind of tenacity, allegiance that Black folks need to have. I bet you the Hmong community doesn't have a whole lot of that, a lot of dysfunction that you'll find in other communities. So that I just mentioned them. They maintained, they stayed exclusive, and all that, and now they're rising up. And it's interesting. Black folks are like, once they start talking about exclusivity and all that, which is a mistake. Don't talk like Black folks. Got to be so demonstrative, and vocal about stuff. Sometimes just be quiet. You don't see the Chinese and white folks waving big signs. Not like Jim Crow days, where in the South there's billboards telling blacks to get out of town before sundown and stuff like that. You don't see that, but they do it. Behind closed doors. Blacks should be just as exclusive. Start treating each other better. Follow through on your word. Handle criticism. And let us rise up together. As long as we're uppity and vocal and talking all and broadcasting stuff around, that's going to hurt us. Chinese, Jews, they don't do that. It's what they practice, but they ain't all vocal with that stuff. I mean, come on, Black folks, get it together, man. Really. Always running your mouth. Shoot. And not getting anything done. Got to get away from symbols. All right. A big chunk of the problem here about the sources of wealth being exclusive is that the white folks, other groups are like gatekeepers. In the brief notes, you'll see China with importation. I know this for a fact because I work with a logistics company. 95% of the boxes say made in China. It's like, am I still in America when I go to work, or China? Oh, Italians with the garment industry, Jews with garments, law, finances, white folks with just about everything. You think of a group of people that they're and they have an economic presence and control of a certain sector of the economy. That's the way it is. We run balls and bounce balls, but where's the black ownership of NFL teams, NBA teams? Um, are we at least in management? We got coaches, you know. Come on, you know. So it's a big problem is black folks economically and as a group all following down behind. You know, we're always following like in the wake of white power, where whites have gone before. We just come along, much like slavery days. You know, we get off the boat. We're presented with this big expanse, this plantation. We're showed what to do, and we go and pick the cotton and the tobacco and stuff like that. But we have no ownership of the plantation. The slavery and plantations still very much alive today. All right, lack of wealth, primary black problem. No news there. What is wealth? It's the Dr. Anderson, well, it's a fruit of our labor, stored and used to satisfy human desires and needs. So we can go all kinds of places with wealth. We'll talk financial money, tangible things today, and that's very important for blacks to secure that. We don't have that en masse anyway. Um, like I said, we carry the water. We clean up behind mostly. We do the harder work, you know. But skills and stuff like that, you find other groups, Hispanics, moving in to those sectors. We've talked about it before. We'll talk about it again. But the way Hispanics are flooding into the country and they're just overwhelming black positions and where we secure our space. And we don't find the government's not looking out for us, so to speak, on this issue of the Hispanic community flooding in from the southern border, just taking up all the jobs, progressing and stuff. And since their people are in higher positions, say in unions and labor, construction, something I've seen because I participated in those sectors. You know, they're going to get some favor. There's a language barrier there, and they're going to rise up. There's nothing you can do about it. The government's not helping us. And this is the importance of black people focusing and becoming their own unit. Start looking out for themselves, being exclusive. Very important. He talks about jobs. Now, jobs, it took me decades to realize this, but I finally got into my head that no employer is going to prosper me above themselves. And that's where I believe I should be. That's what's on my mind and what I feel is placed on my heart. Not to be sweeping up somebody's garbage or hefting boxes all night long. Well, what? No, jobs are the major source of dysfunction and poverty among black folks. We don't need more jobs. Well, we need our own business. You know, we need to be the creators. We need to be the head. We need to employ others. You know, we need to turn this thing around. Right now, we're on the bottom, carrying the water, sweeping up the messes, taking care of other concerns of other powerful groups. And we need to turn that around and become the employers of them. That would help us out a whole lot. Reparations argument is revived in that, well, for one thing, black folks, and myself included, not articulate and aware of the reparations argument. And this goes back, way back towards emancipations and amendments and things like that, where The government, right-thinking people in government said, hey man, these people that we're letting loose on the world, they need um, some economic tools to be able to compete so that they don't find themselves back underneath the control of another uh, another regime, another slavery regime. That didn't happen, so we had Jim Crow and all this, and it's a tough argument because it's a redistribution of wealth argument. Once you start talking about that, you get drowned out by the socialism argument, and it's another way black people are shouted down from getting their needs met here in America. Very sad. Very sad, but hopefully, see, we got to galvanize. We're not going to get any white help for that argument at all because we need to, our solution to the reparations problem is securing some of this excess wealth from white America. That's a pretty tough order there. We enrich everyone else. I think I talked about that consistently here. So we need to secure a sector and control it. At the end of the brief notes, I talked about the information sector, but that's another space in which white folks have gone before and dominated. And we need, black folks need to get outside and around this thing, and really secure their space, form a monopoly on it. We don't have to be explicit. We just, we just happen to hire our own. That's what the Asians do. They're not out with commercials or billboards. All these other groups, they don't hire us. They hire some, their own. It just happens. I don't know. You say you've been discriminated against, prove it, is their attitude. Okay. A culture of competition that looks out for its own rights, its own success, exclusivity is the solution, is the answer to making this happen. I see it, and I actually met with someone, and got to let it percolate. I'm no longer rushing into things, but maybe some potential and opportunities there. Because people, I've got to go through my own journey with this. I've been brought up inundated with white culture and things like that. If we had no video here, you might not even think you were seeing a black man talking about these issues, but it's very real. So I got to go through my own journey in embracing my own color, my own people, so to speak. But there's conditions on both sides. You don't get a pass just because you have black skin. Nor do you no longer get a pass because you have white skin or any of the colors in between. I've got to be responsible to vet each individual on their own merits as I would want to be. I don't want to be hanging around a basketball court and someone throwing me a basketball because I don't play basketball. I'm a musician. A real musician. I don't use electronic devices to stuff. No, I know notes and Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, Handel. Come on. the Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis, Bird, Dizzy Gillespie. All right, that's my way. Okay, so there's a lot to go. Me personally, in this journey and this argument, but it's all relevant. Stick around. Day 132. Out of the way. Have a great day and happy Mother's Day. I don't know what this is going to fall on in the upcoming years, but today is Mother's Day. Thank you, Mom, for all you do. Love you much. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.